Hello, Waze World, and welcome to another exciting edition of Waze Community's Office Hours. I am your host, Brett, and with me today are members of the WME UX team. But before we get to them, I have a couple of quick announcements. First of all, an administrative announcement. Our amazing and wonderful producer, Danit, has now got a new position on the communities team. She's a community manager helping out communities in the APAC region. So she's no longer going to be with us here on Office Hours, although maybe as a host. I'm going to try to convince her. But now we have an amazing new producer, Nir, who I'm going to bring on stage. Nir, wave hello to everybody. So you all are going to be meeting Nir at your mega meetups, and he'll be also helping out with local meetups all over the world. So really, we're so happy to have him, and it's his first time, so we're going to take it easy on him today. So with that, I'm really happy to kick off our topic. Today we're going to be talking about WME UX design and seeing what's new. So joining us today are Judy and Nadav from the team, and I'm just going to go right ahead and kick it over to them. So Judy, take it away.
Thank you very much, Brett. Hi, everyone. Too bad I can't see your face. I'm really excited, and thank you for being here. I know it was hard to book some time during the Olympics, so we're really happy to be here with you folks. So today, we're very excited to explore with you the first-time user experience from a user UX designer perspective. We'll be discussing key principles and share examples of how we've incorporated these into WME over the past year. So for those who are not familiar with us or haven't met us yet and the meetups, this is our UX ecosystem team, and it's really, truly exceptional. Over the past year, many talented individuals have contributed to shape the user experience for the set of features for first-time experience. Those features are specifically designed for new editors who are just discovering our platform for the first time and wondering what is all this excitement about. So today will be two of the team, myself, Judith, the UX manager, and near me, Nadav Batzir, a UX designer in the squad. But as you can see, we have many more amazing UXers who contribute to this effort. And thank you also for all of our other disciplines, stakeholders that were part of this process, as well as product and QA and marketing. Okay, so here's our agenda for today. We'll use the first 10 minutes to explore together the principles behind the first-time user experience, breaking down those ingredients for a pleasant encounter. That will help you understand the decisions and the rationales behind them, and also why it's crucial for WME. Then for the second part, we'll move to the main presentation. Nadav will take it, and we'll go over and see 3 key projects under the first-time experience epic. Each one of them is addressing different pain points that we identified during UXR research. You will see how we incorporate UX best practice into those projects, making WME more user-friendly and targeting new editors. The first project that you can see here, the pink one, is called Educational Landing. This one is helping users orientate themselves in the tool for the first time, guiding them through basic actions with the in-tool assistant. The second project is called Unify Action Area, and it demonstrates how, with quick layout tweaks, we can significantly improve the user experience by consolidating all the creation CTAs under one roof. We'll finish by just showing you a quick glimpse on some work-in-progress ideation sketches that we're thinking about for next phases of first-time experience. And of course, we won't skip the Q&A, so we'll have 20 minutes. This is the time for you to speak out loud all of your opinions. This is really important for us. We learn a lot from that, and also raise questions. And of course, as you know, some of you who met me, I really like having you part of the brainstorm and seeing your amazing ideas, so thank you for that.
That actually reminds me, Nir, can you please post the link to the Q&A in the chat there? So as everyone knows, we have a Q&A portal. Feel free to submit your questions throughout the entire presentation, and then in about 35 minutes, we'll get to Q&A.
Exactly. Okay. Okay, so now let's start with the presentation. So first-time user experience. We all heard about it. What does it actually mean? Okay, so basically we're talking about an initial impression that determines user engagement and influence whether a person will continue to use our product or just abandon it. Potentially, it can really impact long-term user retention and the overall product success. So that's why we as UX designer have a key role here. We need to strive to help editors to reach this aha moment. I will explain in a minute what does it mean, as quickly and as smoothly as possible. So I don't know if you folks know the term aha moment, but I'll explain. So it refers to this, sudden, like a light that hits a person, like when you realize or really understand the value of a product or a service. So we aim to ensure that users clearly see how this product fits into their workflow, why they can find benefit of it, and recognize the value proposition. We also, as part of our role, want to evoke positive emotions. So we're talking about this sense, like think when you're entering a museum and you see those amazing piece of art, you feel satisfied, happy, and appreciate. So when we do this correctly, all of this together increase the user motivation to continue using the product. We have a hard mission. We have only about 50 milliseconds, which is less time that it takes for a desktop to refresh when I'm pressing the refresh button, to create this first impression. So like in real life, there are no undos, okay, for a bad first date. We need to create a really delightful cover for our product and ensure it's clear and appealing. Once we have the user in, we need to establish the right UX foundation and language to ensure that all the functionalities are clearly articulated. We evaluate if the user interface is accessible enough, considering different disabilities as color blindness and motor issues. Also, we need to be sure that the level of language is easy understandable by everyone. So after we reach this understanding, it's not enough. We want also the user to be engaged with the product. We want to see the user start interacting with the system. So you can see around us many products offers those guided tours in which the user can just start clicking and practicing some of the task. So in WME specifically, we have the practice mode that is that aims to help the user try to orient it and do those tasks. And right now you can see we added also a new project, step-by-step inline guide that Nadav will explain later. So hopefully if we've done the first bullet correctly, we reached the overall user experience and we increased it. So how can we really evaluate something so abstract like emotion, basically, okay? We can do it afterwards by having surveys and measuring and being sure that the level of satisfaction is good enough and that we can actually see also more edits. So now summarizing everything I said into like one user journey, full user journey, you can see that this is the way we want to go with the new editor or everyone that starts having interested into WME. So we have the first stage called the onboarding stage, in which we want the user to become activate, starting from just having this first motivation of the user who wants to start editing the map. It's either through a word of mouth, he heard about WME from other editors, or he just search online and find WME. So this is the first step. And eventually we want to have him joining the Waze editors community. So what happens on this way? This is exactly what we need the first time experience in order to have a smooth onboarding. So we want to be sure that the user knows how to perform the task. So basically, after this first interest in WME, user will start exploring by themselves how can they update the map. So they can go to knowledge centers or Visopedia. But let's remind ourselves that it's not always the case. So sometimes we can jump to step 3 of login into WME with the user having zero context. So this is the first screen that they meet us. And this is like they have this first impression even now of how the screen looks. Eventually, after they log in, they start initial like finding themselves like into this new neighborhood. Hi, I'm here. What's this place about? And actually, it's a map, so it's not a coincidence. But we as UX designer need to help them and provide them the successful way to find and orientate themselves. After that, they reach this aha moment, like understanding what the tool does after playing a bit with. And then if we made it so far, which is actually really, really good, we can see the fruits with their first edits. So I know most of you know, and if you don't know, we successfully launched Suggestion Edit, which is an amazing enabler to suggest those first edits. So after we have those edits, the user clicked save. We also encourage the user to start exploring the community and being more active, sending posts and forums, or just talking with more senior editors. So this is the first step, but it's not finishing here. We want to check during the first 28 days that the user, this first-time editor, is actually coming back and using WME and find interest, and then hopefully building habits, editing habits, and becoming more and more engaged. Okay, so after we understood those challenges and the user journey, let's talk about, like, I think the most interesting part is what can we do? What are the set of solutions we have in our toolbox to address all of these? So I'm going to present to you a really nice Google framework that classifies different components based on their level of engagement. So you can see on the left side, it's ranging from aggressive to passive. But I just want to assure you, in the context of first-time user experience, aggressive doesn't necessarily have a negative connotation. Sometimes it's even better. As you can see in the scale here of the x-axis shows the level of seniority of the user, I would say, from completely new to someone who's returning and using WME on a daily basis. And then according to that, we want to be sure that we're providing the right level of engagement, not to be too intrusive, but if we have a goal and we have a new feature, we want to also be sure that the user know about it. So this delicate balance is really the core of our work as UX designers. So we're trying to balance all of those needs and being very thoughtful for the different use case. Now, as you can see, this framework, I want to come and take it to real life scenarios and go over some of the components that exist in the world of UX. I'm going to focus more on the one that we actually have or plan to have in WME. So let's start with the more aggressive one. You see the red ones. I will cover interstitial screen dialogue. So this is a nice name for a dialogue, basically, but it's a dialogue that user must go over and can't just skip or avoid it. So this is when we have a message we want to be sure that the user gets. So sometimes we use it when we have new features or guided flows, or you can see here the examples from the market. And in WME, the good example is the first login screen. It's not the login screen, it's the welcome screen. So we want to be sure the user understand what's this interface about. And we also provide a direct link to practice mode. Now, if we go over less intrusive patterns, we have what we call the active patterns. These are patterns that live side by side with the original user flow. So we're not interrupting the user, but we're still providing the data like in a very visual way. So some example of that, I would say one of the toppest one in this category is gamification. I'm sure you all know about it. So we have different ways.
We also, Louise wrote in the chat to remind us not to forget about gamification. So I'm glad that you're getting.
Okay. Yeah. So you see, you're reading my phone. Just got it. So everyone likes to celebrate. Is there someone here who doesn't like to celebrate? So let's celebrate. Let's take those good moments when we see user successfully finished an edit, and let's make it more fun. You can see examples here. There are really various ways to do it. So this is one pattern. And another one is what we call the InUp Resource Center. This is also very common. So basically, it's not blocking the user. And here, what we need as UX designer is to anticipate the editor needs, okay? So we're creating those educational resources that are a list, like that combines videos, case studies, knowledge-based articles, and documentation. And the good thing about it is the user doesn't need to leave WME. He can still have access to all of that while he's editing. I'll finish with the passive patterns. These are, again, a lot of them. If someone is interested, I can send a full list. But one that we meet really often in WME is the empty states. So the UX idea behind it is we don't want the user just to stare at a blank screen. We want to be sure that he's active and engaged. So empty states are a very common way to have like a nice visualization, a sentence that explain the heart of the feature, and then having a clear CDA. Also, we have InUp tooltips. I know this is also something very common. You can't have a guided tour without having them. So we have products like WalkMe that have it. So it's very, very common and helpful to communicate the feature benefits during the onboarding process. And Nadav will show later how we incorporate this into WME. And finally, last one are stickers. These are like tiny badges that are really, really passive, not interrupting, but still conveying the message that here there's something new. So you can see we added it into the new camera types that is about to launch soon. We have it here saying that we have new types of camera. So with that, thank you very much. I hope you survived this intro. Now I will pass the torch to I think the most interesting part, to actually see the projects in WME. Thank you, and Nadav.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Judy. So this is great. It was very interesting, by the way. I love this. And the first project we're going to be tackling today within this scope of first-time experience is going to be educational lending and onboarding. And we're going to be focusing on the activation part that Judy just mentioned a few slides ago. And we're not going to be covering login, but we are going to be covering the orientation and hopefully the aha moment that we are all really want the users to together, and later on the edit and joining the community. So
yeah. Maybe switch.
Yeah, switch. So you guys can see the
chairs.
Yeah,
let's switch now. You'll be
There we go.
Okay. Hey guys. Yeah. So I'm back here, new position. So thanks, Judy, again. Thanks, Brett. And now let's just dive into this amazing feature that we're working on. So the feature goal is actually to increase the number of first-time users who submit a first edit to the WME. And this is the goal for all of our first-time experience initiatives in WME, because that's the goal in the end, to submit a first edit successfully to the map. And as good UX designers, we don't move without UXR. It's really important to us to understand our users, to understand the editors, to understand the community. And we start by asking, what's the problems? What are the pain points? What's the mindset when first-time editors come into the WME? What can we fix and what can we do better? And this is actually something that we're always looking at when we're designing these new features. So the first two pain points I want to look at today for this feature is that the first difficulty users encountered was orienting themselves on the map. And then the second one was users that have expressed their need for a brief tutorial or walkthrough. And Judy just said that this is a common practice within first-time experience features. So we heard the community, we heard our users, we heard the editors, and we tried to figure out cool new ways to implement that into the WME and answer those pain points. So orientation of first login is actually the most important thing. I'm coming in, I want to make a change, I want to understand where I am. We know that most people are driving from home to work, from work to home, maybe around their neighborhoods, and that's where they see stuff that they want to implement in the WME, a wrong address, or maybe a wrong street, maybe a closure, something that's happening around their regular routine of driving. And we want to help them understand where they are and how they can get into that place faster than just, putting them into the map and saying, hey, just find yourself. So we're actually first thing trying to see where they are right now, if they let the browser see their location. So if ever their location where they're logging into the WME, that's where we're gonna show them the map first. But if we don't have that information, we're just gonna show them their home that they defined in the app. Some users don't put their home in the app, so we might go further and show them their workspace. As I said, most of the changes that they want to do is around their regular surroundings. And if we don't have any of that information, we're going to show their last drive. Maybe that's where they saw something that they want to come in and change. And if we don't have any of that information, we're just going to show them something general based on their IP or based on the country they're logging in from. And that's going to give them the sense of where they are in the system. All of this is actually out now, and you can go ahead and try it if you haven't been in the WME for the first time. But if you are and you are here in the audience, go ahead and try it and see what happens. And let us know, by the way, if it helps you and if you can find yourself better in our system, in the WME, making changes. But now, after you've been orienting yourself and you know where you are and you're coming in, you have something that you want to change. So we need to help you do that. That's where educational lending comes in. Educational lending is another feature which hopefully will bring you into that I get it moment, like that aha moment Judy was talking about. I understand something, it's clicking in my mind, and I can go ahead and do it. So it's a pop-up that you can see on the right side of WME when you get in. And it's asked you, don't know where to start? Check out the guides. And we made 6 different guides for people to go in and make their first move and first change in the WME. So you can go ahead and see it. It's getting started, add a missing place or road, correct an address, or fix suggest speed limit, add road closure, and ask other Wazers. So these are the 6 basic tutorials we're showing and navigating new first-time editors within the WME. And the 6th one is actually quite interesting because in the end, we can give you all the manuals in the world and all the tutorials for you guys to go ahead and do the stuff. But this is a community. We want you guys to talk to one another. We want you guys to help one another. And we want new people to come in, understand how they can do that. So the community can help the community. And then that's the best way for us to make sure that all of the information is passing on, because you guys are the people who know WME the best. And we want you guys to connect. So that's a really important thing for us in Waze with the first time experience, to bring people into the community, which is the last part of this whole onboarding and first time experience initiative. But let's focus for just 1 second on one of the flows of this new educational lending pop-up within the WME. So let's say I need to correct an address. I always order things to my house from Amazon or anywhere else, and the delivery guy never finds my house. He always takes it to my neighbor. And then my neighbor comes in the evening and says, hey, someone gave you some packages. And I'm like, why do they always come to your house and not my house? So I come into the WME and that's it, changing it. I want people driving with Waze to find my doorstep. So let's see how that works. So I get into the WME, I orient myself, I know where my house is or my work, I found the address, and then I see that pop-up of first login, orientation, and educational lending. So I click on the first step, and then he asks me, are you like a private residence or are you a business? By the way, a lot of business owners need to fix their business address as well, as they want customers to come in. So that's also a big thing. And then it brings you to a tutorial where you can watch a video or follow 4 simple steps to guide you to that goal of changing your address. And that's also very interesting because Judy said that just before a few slides when we started this YouTube show today, that you have a lot of resources. You have Wikipedia, you have YouTube shows, you have other resources that you're looking at when you want to add the WME, but all of them are outside of the WME, so outside of context. You're coming in, you have to stop whatever you're doing in the WME, read some article, go to a YouTube show, watch some stuff, go back to the WME, and you lose your orientation, where you are, what are you supposed to do? So we brought that into WME. So now you can find YouTube tutorials in WME. Yeah, the wizard. Exactly. So we wanted it to be step by step. By the way, Wizard is a great way for attacking this first time experience designs. When we want it to be like, do this and then do another step and another step, which is not so overwhelming. And now you can go ahead and watch these YouTube tutorials in the WME without leaving the tool. And then you can actually understand and get that, I get it moment. Like, that's it, where do I need to click here? Yeah, I get it. I don't have to switch between tabs and stuff. So that's a big change, and that's helping first time experience to achieve whatever it is that they came into the WME to do. Another cool thing I want to talk about with you guys today is a feature tooltip. So Judy talked about it a little bit in her part of this show today, and it's very interesting because this is kind of a walkthrough that helps people to understand where they need to look at. So let's see a little bit of that design. You can see this blue tooltip. It's a new design that will be entering the WME. And let's say I submitted a UR, and this is my first time reporting something, and then I get that email saying, hey, thanks for contributing to Waze, and then I get a link into the WME. You can follow this UR, but I don't know it. I don't know anything about it. So now when I click that link for my email, I go into the WME, and then there is this tooltip helping me to understand where I am, what am I supposed to do with it, and then also maybe showing you, hey, you can add more comments, you can give us more information. So it will be beneficial for me to help other editors, and again, help myself and help the community. And in the end, also saying, hey, by the way, there's more tutorials you can watch. But what's amazing about this feature tooltip, that it's not only for first-time experienced users par excellence. What do I mean? So let's say we're releasing a new feature, very heavy navigation feature for L5, L6 editors, people who know this tool back and forth. But it's a new feature, they don't really know it. So in a way, they are also first-time experienced users in that feature. So now we have the ability to go in and say, hey, look, there's a new feature. That's what you're supposed to do with it. Yeah, I agree. We want all of the tutorials in the WME now. So this is just keeping in mind that sometimes even very advanced editors are first-time experienced users as well in our tool. And we're not forgetting you guys. We're not just releasing stuff. We want you guys we want to help you. We want to guide everyone through the process of interacting with something new in the system. So let's move on into the second project I want to be talking about today within this umbrella of first-time experience. So we're calling it simplifying the add objects flow for first-timers, or unify action areas. You might know it by that name. And this is actually in the next step of that life cycle of first-time editors. It's the edit the Waze map now. So I know where I am. I kind of got it. Like, I know what I'm supposed to do, but now I have to actually go ahead and add objects or entities to the Waze map. And we wanted to simplify that. So as I mentioned before, we don't move much around without UXR. We're asking, the community, we're asking the editors, what are your pain points? And we discovered that the presence of multiple action areas on the screen in WME has negatively impacted users' ability to complete tasks. So we wanted to fix that. And also, users' misunderstanding and confusion between the main actions like road and edit the map would mainly reason they couldn't complete most tasks successfully. And we wanted to tackle those pain points and make it easier for first-time experienced users, editors, to come into the map and be able to add things to the map. So we went in and we did some design explorations, and we thought about many different things, like maybe we should just let them draw first, like make a line, make a point, make a polygon, and just after that, after you know how to draw things on the map, let us know if it's a place or a road or a hazard or something else. Or maybe it's supposed to be something floating always, on the interface next to some other elements. And in the end, we kind of went with the option you see to the right, with the big icons, very appealing to the eye, very catchy. And we added labels to the left panel, left navigation menu, so people will know what they're doing, and it's not just icons, and it's not so broad. And we want it to be very kind of like eye-catching, so the new people coming in, it wouldn't be so like, what's a place? Oh, I get it. It's big. I want to click it. I want to try it. I want to be engaged with it. Kind of like gamification. Like, what is this? And we were very confident with our designs. We said, yeah, we kind of nailed it. And then we went next phase and we released it to the community. And we asked you guys, hey, what do you guys think about it? And you guys told us. And we love that. As UX designers, we always go back to the community. We always go back to the users. Like, you guys are who we're designing for. And we put up a form and we said, you know what? We came in with 2 more designs, with the vertical menu and the floating menu in the WME, and they're a little bit different. And what do you guys think? Vote on it. Let us know. And that's how we've been working with the community, for the community, to make these tools better. And we wanted to make sure that the more experienced editors are not being left out. So we can think about first-time experience, but we still want to be making sure that everyone can use the tool freely and make it accessible to everyone. We're not forgetting that. So we went in, we asked the community, what do you guys think? You voted. And in the end, you chose the floating menu final design. And it's actually a big win-win because, as Judith said, it's kind of like a UX-driven project that is just about layout, but it's more than that. It's about making the experience easier, smoother, making first-time experience users interact with our app in a way that it makes them want to do it again and again and again, and kind of like winning them in that first date. Like, yeah, let's make a second date. So we kind of went in with that floating design, and we reduced the action areas from 3 to 2, making it more easier and simpler for first-time users to find themselves in the WME. We added labels to the menu, so it's very easy to read. We changed the item orders a little bit, so it will be making more sense. And we didn't forget the existing editor, so no extra clicks. That was a big debate. Should we add a click or should it not be another click? And we listened to you guys, and we didn't add that other click. And I think that everyone's winning now, the experienced editors and the more first-time editors.
I think this feature really like kind of present the duality that we have as UX designers. Something really interesting is that, like, for me, winning with a feature is being able to provide something that like works for both type of editors, more experience and new editors. I think this current solution kind of combine those needs, and I'm looking forward for more collaboration like that from you folks about all of our features.
Yeah, I agree. That was fun. That was a great one. And now, actually, all that's left is to save everything that we've done and become part of the community. And that's our goal in the end. Do you remember what was our goal? To make the first edit in WME, and then hopefully making our community bigger and bringing more people in, so we can all make this product really excellent.
There's a really nice comment here from Bryce. Glad to see the unified floating menu takes unnecessary white space away from those with smaller size and resolution screens. I know that was a really big feedback as well about understanding the screen size that most editors use too.
Yeah,
that's right.
And let's move on to the last part. Yeah. Do you want to change seats again?
No, I'm okay.
Just like scoot in a little bit. Okay. No, you're good. Judy needs to. If you just like scoot really over on your chair. Yeah. Let's get cozy. Pretend like we like each other.
We actually like each other.
Okay, thank you so much. I think like Nadav really put like an excellent presentation here. I hope you understand more of the features right now, and we're here for any questions. And let's just have those 2 minutes just to show you a bit of what the things that we're baking now in the oven. considering what you saw right now. And
I just want to do a disclosure here before that none of this is planned or being worked on. This is all very ideation.
Exactly.
I just need to make a big disclaimer first.
I have here.
I know you have it, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows this is not stuff that's like on the plan yet.
Okay. So so repeating what Brett said, this is not part of the roadmap, but this is like the fun part, our let's say our background when we play with test ideas and we show them one to each other. This is the fun part of being a UX designer. And again, I welcome you. If you have ideas, please share them with us. But I'll just show you a few sketches. So we've been thinking about gamification. We'd like to have more of that for first-time users, so we can see something that's really that creates this sense of importance, is demonstrating the impact. So think about a new editor who edits something, and then we can see how many drivers were affected by this edit, showing very like the number of points earned and a bit more bigger, and encouraging them to continue edits by just providing more CTAs. We also thought about sketches that look a bit like a video game when you're progressing to the next level and you need to unlock those new capabilities by gaining more points. So you can see like here are the options for L1. And if you progress in the system, you can see those amazing gray out features. Another idea that we had is to create this type of like welcome screens, a bit of like a small homepage into WME that combines shortcuts for the main actions, can show relevant information like recent drives, encourage them to continue or to complete a walkthrough. So these are like nice examples we have. And Nadav also want to explain about the beginner modes?
Yeah, as both Judy and Brett said, that this is our imagination, right? So we're kind of letting ourselves solve problems. That's what UX designers does. We're always asking questions, trying to solve those questions, trying to solve problems, and trying to make things better for the user's experience. So maybe like beginner modes. So maybe we don't need to see everything. So if I'm just a beginner, maybe I don't need to have MTs. Maybe I don't need to have like the issues panel because I'm not fixing them anytime soon. I just want to add maybe objects to the map. So reducing a little bit of map clutter, maybe simplifying the interface and making some kind of a beginner mode, just like practice mode, but not in a practice way, in a real way that we can actually go ahead and edit the map. Yeah.
So we actually have a little feedback already from the chat I wanted to throw up. So here was an interesting one from Lee. Consider a reminder to get new editors to remember to save as well when we're doing like the first time experience pop-ups.
Interesting.
Really interesting one. Yeah.
Another
Thanks.
one.
Who said it?
That was from Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
Yeah.
And then from Raphael, new users used to create comments on screen thinking that they were creating places, and this will make things 1,000 times better. I think he was talking.
Yeah. Hopefully.
What we had here, right? Anyways, going back to where we were. Then I'm going to skip a few of these. So also just to comment on Necron on the swag shop, that is open. If you go to a local meetup, you'll receive a code. So
there's a question about the shortcuts that I think Nadav can address.
Yeah, please implement shortcuts for WME from the old UI.
Yeah, so we are actually, I don't know if we're allowed to say that we're working on it, but that's our plan to also make this interface for more experienced editors more usable by adding shortcuts to the keyboard shortcuts. And that way, no one needs to use mouse or even menus at all. So you can just go ahead and use your keyboard when you're working.
And then here we have another on the mood board. Are we planning to allow new editors to put in closures? Hopes not.
Yeah, so thank you. It's just like a mock, just to show like we have different icons, but definitely not. Like we know closure is very responsible kind of task, and not planned for new editors.
Definitely. Alrighty. So I think next is time for Q&A, and it actually is like perfect timing. We've got 20 minutes left. So thank you, Nir. Let's see what we got. Did we get any questions, Nir? Amazing. Okay. So the first one from Giannis. Do keyboard shortcuts fall under the umbrella of UX? Can you ensure that new functions added to the WME also have a keyboard shortcut assigned? Productivity reduces with so many new features when we have to rely on using the mouse to navigate nested menus.
Yeah. So I can take it. Definitely, it's part of our role as UX designers to define those keyboard shortcuts. I think we're starting from a good point. Like we have a list of shortcuts existing in the system, and we consider for each feature. So not like if it's something that is used like for a very small segment of user, we won't add a shortcut automatically. But for like the unify action area, what Nadav showed, of course, we added the keyboard shortcuts. It's part of the release. So you'll have like a shortcuts to create those places, roads. But if there's a specific suggestion, Yanis, that you think that you have this repeating kind of action that you're missing this shortcut, please write to us and we'll consider it.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Moving right along, what do we have next? From ABC 1357, I use a 13-inch MacBook Air. What are the plans to support editors with small screens? Currently, with the left panel open and having Street View open, I have so little screen space left that it's extremely difficult to edit.
Yeah, that's a big one.
You want to add it on the screen resolution?
I mean, we are thinking about this, and we are always keeping in mind all screen sizes. We are looking forward into exploring more screen sizes, but we always have compact mode that we're trying to implement into every new feature that we're releasing. So if you guys don't know it, hopefully everyone does. So you can turn on compact mode, and that will save you a little bit of space that is very important for you guys. And we listen to that. Like, we are very aware of the need of designing to smaller screens.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, based on like we also examine just the data. So we have like Google Analytics, and we see the most common resolution. Right now, we see that our designs fit most of them. We have some we're designing to this range of different screen size. Maybe like for smaller screens, we're not fully supporting it, unfortunately, but we do try to address in the designs. We have 3 variations of each design. Also, as Nadav mentioned, we have compact mode, which is not fully blended into WME, we know, but our plans is to have compact mode for more areas. So, for example, the new turn pop-up that we'll have, or other places where we will integrate compact mode.
So a little follow-up from him in chat that compact mode does not save on horizontal space, only on the vertical space.
It's only on it's part of,
that's true.
We're aware that.
Okay. Next up, what do we have? So from Travis, how does the new UX guide a new user who comes to the WME to do something they cannot do as a new rank 1 editor, such as enter a closure?
Okay,
so for something like this, where like, let's say suggest and edit, they're not able to enter a closure on suggest and edit like that. So is there some sort of like pop-up that says, this isn't an action you're able to do as a brand new editor, or like how does it react to a blocked action?
Yeah, so we kind of want everything to be suggest and edit. That's like our dream, because we want first-time users to be able to submit data to the map, because sometimes they know stuff that maybe none of us know. Like if my road is being closed and only me and my neighbors know about it, we want them to tell us. So that's a big one. And also we are disabling elements both from the menu and from other action areas in the WME for level 1, level 2, depends on the level, and then they have a tooltip explaining why it is disabled and why they cannot do that right now. And hopefully, with our imagination, as Judy presented, we can show them like steps. Like, now you're in level 1, you can do this. Next thing, you will be able to do row closures, and there's more to come for you. So hopefully, that will motivate them to keep on editing and reaching that limit of being higher ranked.
I just want to add something short about like best practice and UX is not to like make elements disappear if the user can do it, because then, as Nadav said, they can know that it exists at all. So what we usually do is disable those patterns, but we don't want to completely enable them.
Makes sense. Moving along, who do we have next? So from Alex, can we add an option to stop displaying the work home icon on the app? As driving for Uber, I don't want my riders to see where I live, work, and keep having to remove my home and work contents every time I drive for Uber. So we're going to skip this one because this is a question or feature request about the app, and we're talking about WME today. But that's actually a really good point, Alex, and something I encourage you to bring up in the forum. Do we have any other questions?
We do.
All right, who do we have next?
Shoot. That's the time. That's the time to ask
Yeah.
us all the hard questions.
Yeah, exactly. So an anonymous question, will there ever be an option added to the WME login process that will allow the user to add an MFA application? I'm not sure what an MFA application is. So maybe,
No.
well, it's an anonymous question, so I don't know if they're going to submit in chat a follow-up, but let's
I'm
move
sorry.
to the
I'm
next
sorry.
one.
I'm missing context.
Yeah, we're not sure what an MFA application is, but if you want to, if someone wants to write in chat, we'll go back to this one.
That's the comments.
That's okay. Let's see what they have. So next up, multi-factor authentication. I see.
What?
So like
Multi-
like a two-step login for the WME.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so right now it's not like login is not it's in parking, but we might take it to 2025 to the roadmap. So currently we don't have any plans. But thanks for deciding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for Major Combs, when a new editor places a map comment, it often goes unnoticed. Can these be added to the issues layer?
Yeah, so this is a good point. Right now, I think Unify Action solved like one part of this puzzle of just making this creation flow easier, but we still need, I think, a better presence on the map itself. Right now, we're using those polygons. So we do consider maybe making it more visible with icons. And as being part of a monitored issue, this is like a more question for product, because we don't know if we want to make it like go through filters or make it more open to everyone. But we do have thoughts, like we talked about it a few times.
And also now it's not a map comment, it's
Yeah.
notes.
Mhm.
So that hopefully will make it more clear that these are notes left on the map. And then maybe suggest an edit will be suggestion as things that I want to change, and then someone needs to review it.
That was
So,
going to be my
yeah.
point as well, is that like our real hope with suggest and edit is to funnel those users to make a suggestion for the edit rather than leaving a comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then notes and comments will be there for you guys.
More for communication
Yeah, for
purpose.
communication and for the community to understand one another, and to remind myself one thing that I need to do on the map. Yeah.
By the way, let us know how it works for you, the new feature. If you find it more
please.
easier.
Next up, that's okay. We can look at comments too. It doesn't need to be a question.
Yeah.
We'll see what we have. We address all questions and comments. Okay, so a comment from Giannis. Error messages in WME are not great. More often than not, they don't relay any useful information. This leads to frustration, especially for newer editors. In the meantime, in the console, we can see that there are more descriptive error explanations. Please surface them.
Great
Great note. I think it's like one of those big UX buckets that we know we need to tackle. It's also the time where we present errors. So some of the errors we can get only after the backend returns or some of the things we can see. And there's like areas, I think, like if we take new segments, for example, we have two main errors that appear for new users all the time, like please connect the road and please provide an address. These are not like, I would say, super pleasant flows. We're aware to that, thanks, but it's just a question of when to prioritize these. But thanks for letting us know.
And it also shows how wide UX and UI goes. Like we're solving some of the pain points for first-time experienced editors, and then some of them we're going to be solving later on in the future. And it's a really wide umbrella of a lot of things to think about. So I'm really like impressed of how people are getting this topic, and please give us more suggestions. It's great.
I want to go back for a second. Lori had an interesting follow-up on the comments, and if we can also change the name of RPPs, residential place points, to address point, and house number to building number. I guess it's more of like a localization ask, but it might just make it more clear for users.
Yeah.
It's an interesting note.
Great
I think it's a great comment. Really, I love being and hearing all of your comments. And by the way, if something is important for you folks, please submit it and like suggest it. And we can go over all of your suggestions.
Absolutely. And by the way, if you have a feature request like this, absolutely submit it in user voice. We review it every month. And we very much take seriously. And I encourage you to campaign for votes, because the more votes your suggestion gets, the easier we see it. Next up.
Coming back just for the person who talked about the errors. I don't recall the name. If you have like specific errors that you recall that are not so great, I would be happy to hear them. Yanis. Okay, Yanis, if you can specifically write which type of errors, that will be interesting. And then we can, I think it's also interesting to count the number of times we see or display this error in the system. Thanks.
Next up, we have another anonymous question. Shouldn't quality control be a critical component of the new user experience? It's essential to bring new editors on board, but isn't it just as essential to keep them verify what they're doing? So yeah, I mean, I think that keeping existing editors is also very much at the top of our minds. We want to make sure that you all have the tools that you need to do the mapping that you want to get done and a great experience while you're in WME. Do you have any other comments about like how you're keeping in mind existing editors as you're doing these sorts of redesigns and refreshes of the WME?
Yeah, I think we talked about it also today, that as sometimes experienced editors are also first-time editors. When we're releasing new stuff, as we show the feature tooltip, so we want this topic of first-time experience is something that you experience for the first time. So it could be everyone who's logging into the WME and experiencing a feature for the first time. That's also a first-time experience that we need to make sure that it goes smoothly. So we also take in mind those more experienced editors. And, yeah.
Sorry, I'm jumping. I think like the question was slightly different, if it's okay.
Take it however you want.
The way I read it is that, is there a way for us to verify the edits, right? The control of it. So I think it's a great comment. So we do provide this in-guide help, but this in-guide help right now is not sensitive in the way that it follows the edit, because this is a very big, heavy, I would say, work that we need to put on the front-end side. So we decided to put like this help. But what we do have to help those editors verify what they're doing will be an amazing new link for this course that will actually help user test their knowledge. So this stay tuned for that. It will be part of educational landing. You'll have this amazing course created here inside of Waze, and this could really help them verify their edits. And it's actually something we also have here when we onboard new people to the stuff.
And not too many spoilers, because we're going to show this on a future episode of Office Hours. But we are creating some advanced courses for higher level features like junction boxes and paths and all sorts of stuff that currently are open for only upper level editors.
Amazing. Great.
Cool. So should we go to a next one? Or actually, we did get some comments. If we go back one to Giannis's question about the errors, because I see that we got a bunch of them in here.
Love to hear.
So like, here's one for like, there's something wrong with this node, but then it will tell you that the example would say that like a 2-segment loop, it looks like it's connected, but it's not actually. And they like, so the editor would have to like really zoom in and play with the nodes to see if it's connected to the segment or not, where they're just going to get a very generic error about the node, and it won't tell them exactly what the issue is.
Just thinking about it, I think having like nice, maybe near the error message, having a GIF animation showing exactly like what you should move or things like. I think errors is really an
Interesting
very
topic.
interesting topic. Please vote also. If we see that a lot of people thinks it's important, we might consider it.
Yeah, for us as UX designers, pain points. It's I don't know if it's pleasant to say, but it's music to our ears. Like that. But
Music to
yeah, like
Well, no, it points the way for you of like where you should be.
Yeah,
I
taking your
prefer
next
to
step
hear
there.
the like
Yeah.
we also love it.
saying, yeah, that's always
We also love it.
Well, I
when
have
you guys
bad news for
enjoy
you.
it.
This is not the show to get all the love and the praise. Although we do have an amazing.
No, I mean, yeah. It's also nice when people enjoy the experience. But for us as UX designers, what we do is solve problems all day.
Yeah.
There are problems, and we have to solve them, and that's what we do. So yeah.
Great. All right. New question or comment, whatever we got. So another anonymous one. New users could save errors that explain what went wrong and how to fix it rather than just check and try again. So when we get to suggest an edit, this is actually part of the flow where you as the reviewer are able to reject their edit and send them back comments, lazy and helpful comments about why their edit wasn't there. But I guess like in the error panel, like Judy was just saying, like it could be really interesting to like show an animated GIF file of like showing exactly what they were doing wrong.
Yeah.
Cool. Next up. From Alex, any plans to replace Unicode text that has been causing conflicts with directions via Android Auto on the dashboard, among other things? This isn't what I'm super familiar with.
I think it's also
Yeah,
touching the app.
Yeah, it's more
Android
for
Auto,
in-car.
so, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on from this
It's
one.
not about WME. But by the way, if you have any localization issues,
Oh, that's it? We ran out. Okay.
I know. I'm just lastly, if there are some localization issues in WME, please let us know.
All right,
Okay,
we
one
do
more.
have one more.
One last one.
All right, from Ty. How about integrating the new floating menu to the mouse right click? It will save the editor a lot of time dragging your mouse over from the middle of the screen to the sidebar.
Okay.
The right
Yeah.
mouse click is pretty
Okay.
useless. And actually, I want to say I ran into this one
We're
today.
We're laughing out loud now.
No, I actually agree with Ty here because I ran into this today when I was trying to take screenshots of the floating menus,
Yeah.
and every time I moved my mouse, they would disappear. And if I could only right click and have it stick, it would made it really easier for me.
I have nothing to say, but I agree. Right mouse click is very missing. Like, and yeah, definitely saves a lot of time to everyone, not only for new editors, experienced editors. It's just a matter again of prioritization and effort. Yeah.
So here's another interesting one from Larry. Could there be a drop down to show what elements are level locked in the map? That's kind of interesting.
Very cool.
Cool.
We had a discussion like that just today.
We just
It was-
talked
yeah,
about
we just
it.
talked about
It's
it
like
today.
they're reading my thoughts. It's
Yeah.
crazy. We
love
thought
this.
maybe to add
Yeah.
near the entity, like writing which level fits. But
I love how synchronized you are with the community. You're already thinking like the community. This is great user experience. Yeah.
See, the more meetups we bring you all to, the better it gets. Do we have any more comments? No? Want to maybe do a quick refresh on it, or because they were saying that there's some in there. Nope. We got everything. All right.
Wow.
That's it.
You presented this one.
Going once, going twice. Well, we only have 3 minutes left on the clock, so I think it's okay if we cut things a little bit earlier.
Someone wrote. There are
Oh
some
wait,
comments here.
here we go. From Alex, any plans to make WME more mobile friendly, as is the case in Google Maps?
Yeah, so definitely if you participate in one of our workshops during the past year, we have an MVP plan for mobile editing. We'll be starting with entry points for venues and hopefully gradually adding more features to that.
Cool.
And what else do we have here? So some more about the right click. It says that there are more questions coming in. I'm not quite sure if you see any there near.
Add a check. There's an ID here.
Let's see.
Just love how
Add a
engaged you
check
are.
the edits button to point to the error. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one, Mikhail.
Are we keeping all of these, all of those notes, right?
So yeah, we're gonna save
Chat?
the chat and the Q&A as well. So we'll have all this afterwards. And by the way,
Here's one.
it lives forever
Last
on
question.
YouTube. Okay, cool. Let's put it back on the stage. Anonymous question. Do you have a time frame for the implementation for the new WME UX?
I guess you're framing like to the features that we just showed here. So yeah, we do have a time frame. We'll start by the, some of them already have been released, by the way, the orientational landing. We plan to have Unify Action Area very soon, also in production, right? And educational landing, Dev will start working it in this age. I don't know exactly when it will be open, but like it's a part of our H2 planning.
So before the end of the year.
All the things, yeah, before all the things we showed today, the tooltips, Unify.
And got one more? All right, great. So another one from ABC 1357. A few years ago, there was a discussion on which scripts to incorporate so they become native WME capabilities. While a small number have been incorporated, there are still many that experienced editors feel are essential. What is the status of incorporating more of these script ideas?
Yeah, so this is a very good question. I think more addressing to product. These are known issues. Nadav, that's sitting here, worked a lot on the routing simulator. It's just that we had many things that we had to tackle this year. We're working on an SDK for scripts. I guess like the script community knows about it. So we will have easy integration with your own scripts. The point about embedding existing scripts, it's a bit more complex because we need to go step like script by script and see like the effort of doing it. It's definitely something we want to do, but again, we need like we're looking at all of the products prioritizations here.
But I also want to mention as well and commend you both for like just in the last like 2 years, I've seen a lot more openness with sharing with the community on plans, and especially with script writers, to make sure that they have like, for example, like pixel maps or knowing exactly what's going to be changed, so that if it's going to affect their scripts, they'll at least have a heads up before they get completely broken. So that's been really helpful, I know, from the community standpoint. No, we're not going to say anything more about the routing simulator because we are out of time. Thank you all. Thank you, Nadav and Judy, so much for joining us. This was super fun. Nir, you did a great job for your first time, so congratulations. And thank you all out there in Wasteland for joining us yet again. We will see you next month with another exciting topic. And from us to you, have an amazing week, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.